look, you can't make this shit up because a white man from another country is calling ICE on people from other countries because he cares about America and foreign invaders, even though he's a foreign invader, which lets you know that even people outside of America understand that this is about race and ethnicity and not about immigration.
Zach Segal is the president of the Boston University College Republicans. We talked to him in September after Charlie Kirk was killed. Segal is now claiming on social media that he is the reason ICE showed up at an Alston car wash earlier this month and hauled off 9 employees. Segal posting on X, "I've been calling ICE for months on end. This week they finally responded to my request to detain these criminals. As someone who lives in a neighborhood, I've seen how American jobs are being given away to those with no right to be here. Pump up the number."
Zach is British. Now, why on earth do these people not have the right to work here, but he has the right to be here taking a spot from an American college student? Please make it make sense.
The 9 workers were detained on the morning of November 4th. Pomerleau says many of them do hold legal status and valid work permits that they were never given a chance to produce.
They were grabbed and thrown in a van, never given any opportunity to explain who.
And this is the same clown who was crying about Charlie Kirk. What a terrible and ridiculous way to go viral.
Message is for Zach Segal. And if you aren't Zach Segal, you can keep scrolling. But if you want to watch and listen to me talk shit about this dude, feel free to stay and listen. So this is the president of Boston College University Republicans. And he has claimed that he is the reason why 9 people were detained at a car wash in Alston on November 4th. Apparently this dude, Zach Segal, he called up ICE. He's telling them that there's 9 people who are illegal working at this car wash in Alston. I found this part of the article rather interesting. He said, "I've been calling ICE for months on end. This week, they finally responded to my request to detain these criminals," Segal posted on his account on X. "As somebody who lives in a neighborhood, I've seen how American jobs are being given away to those who have no right to be here. Pump up the numbers." So Zach Segal, I got a couple questions for you. Since you were so upset about these people working at a car wash and, you just racially profiled them and called ICE on them because obviously they're brown, I'm assuming you must have the next day ran over to that car wash and immediately applied for a job, right? Right. Working their jobs, living their lives, so trying to support their families. And you're just calling ICE because you've been so worried up all night about the people working at the car wash.
BU has the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever. If you haven't seen this kid, he called ICE on a bunch of car wash employees. Based on what, you ask? Because how would a random BU student know the legal status of car wash employees? He didn't, because most of them were here legally. They had work permits, but he hates people of color. But anyway, here's the funny part. He's not American. This boy is from England, and he is here on a student visa. At least the car wash employees were here on work visas. He's just here on a student visa. He's no more American than they are. And I personally think it would be really funny if BU took another closer look at that visa and maybe decided that he wasn't right for their school.
This is Zach Segal, right? You see the name on the Twitter, all of that good stuff, right? You saw what he did, right? He called ICE repeatedly over and over and over and over just to get some random people detained for the love of the game. No specific reason. He doesn't know if they're criminals or not. Just reporting them out of sheer, pure racism, right? The main reason why I'm making this video is because it's rumored that this man is not a citizen himself. This man got 9 innocent people detained because of the color of their skin.
So what you're telling me is a white foreign exchange student from Boston University who's the president of his college Republican club called ICE on brown immigrants who were working at a car wash and called them criminals. And on top of that, Zach Segal is proudly bragging about this on social media. Meanwhile, you're a foreign exchange student in a university taking a seat away from an American student. 9 people were arrested, and the lawyers for them actually said that each of the 5 women and 4 men detained holds a valid legal status and a work permit. Like that he's the president of his Republican club in his party, a student damn athlete, taking spots from somebody who could be American, but he could call ICE.
Hello guys, and welcome to the Joy Report, where we get an outsider's view with an insider's clarity. Zach Segal, a Boston University junior and president of the BU College Republicans, has sparked outrage after publicly bragging that he repeatedly called ICE about workers at a nearby car wash and celebrated when those calls apparently led to an ICE raid. According to his own post on X, he claimed to have been calling ICE for months on end about the Alston car wash, and when ICE agents arrested 9 people on November 4th, he crowed that his persistence had paid off. Before we proceed, all credit goes to the creators of these videos. You'll find their ads in my description box. But for now, let's watch a few more clips and I'll be back with more commentary.
If you're from Boston, you've probably heard about this immigration raid in Alston, Brighton, which happened last Tuesday at a car wash which detained 9 immigrants, and according to their lawyers, all have work permits. Boston University student, specifically the college president of the Republicans, said that he had been the reason why ICE detained that specific facility. This comes as the Heights reported that recently at Boston College, my alma mater, BC Republicans brought in a speaker that students must be willing to quote-unquote die for their values, including anti-immigration rhetoric. Overall, all of this underscores the localization of conservative policies impacting vulnerable communities through young people and the next generation.
9 innocent Latinos were kidnapped from their job just outside of Boston last week, and we're now finding out that it was because of this chop right here. This is Zach Segal, president of Boston University College Republicans. After 9 workers, all of whom had work permits by the way, were detained from their job at Alston Car Wash, he took to Twitter to say that he's been calling ICE for months on end because he's seen how American jobs are being given away to criminals. Funny enough, the motherfucker's British. So if those hard workers are taking American jobs, Zachary, what exactly are you doing? Because according to your logic, you're taking a seat at BU while an American could be here. BU's 3 core values are inclusion, education, and change in action. This student clearly does not foster inclusion, so BU, let's see some change in action. And I'm not talking about some half-assed statement from President Gilliam. Like, can anyone decode this AI slop? I know people on the track team who feel unsafe being on the team with him, plus he's slow as hell, so why is he still on the team? We need change.
Zach framed his actions as an act of patriotism. In his post, he said, "As someone who lives in the neighborhood, I've seen how American jobs are being given away to those with no right to be here. Pump up the numbers." But the reaction was swift and fierce. Community members condemned him, and even the car wash owner sharply denied Segal's claims, saying Segal never reached out to management or even inquired about who worked there. What makes this moment especially absurd and tragic is that the very jobs Segal claims are being stolen by immigrants are exactly the kinds of jobs he himself could apply for. Segal is a college student. Those car wash positions are not exotic or high-skilled roles. He argues that undocumented workers are taking jobs from Americans, yet those same jobs are open to him if he was so inclined. To understand why Segal's behavior is not just cruel but economically reckless, one has to look at the wider picture. The US relies heavily on immigrant labor, especially in sectors that many native-born workers are reluctant to join. Agriculture, construction, and the restaurant industry are all weakened when immigrant workers are threatened, arrested, or deported. Take farming, for example. U.S. agriculture depends almost entirely on foreign-born workers. Analysts estimate that farms are short of 1.5 to 2 million workers each year, and a substantial share of those are filled by immigrants. Many farmers report labor shortages so severe that crops are going unharvested, production is slowing down, and costs are rising. If immigrants are chased out, or if there is widespread fear of enforcement like ICE raids, farms can't simply replace those workers with native-born laborers. The work is difficult, seasonal, and low-paying, and most Americans don't apply for or stay in those roles. Meanwhile, without enough hands to pick fruits or tend to crops, the food supply chain suffers. The result can be food waste, high prices, and even empty shelves in extreme cases. But the effects of immigrant labor loss don't stop at farms. Construction, too, is deeply affected. Many construction sites employ immigrants, and shrinking that labor pool creates real bottlenecks in building infrastructure, housing, and renovations. In the restaurant industry, the picture is equally stark. In places like Florida, after DHS enforcement sweeps, restaurants reported losing staff, cooks, servers, because workers were too fearful to show up. These aren't fringe observations, they underline a systemic problem. So when someone like Segal proudly weaponizes ICE to remove workers, allegedly criminals from a car wash, they aren't just acting on prejudiced assumptions. They are ignoring how deeply integrated immigrant labor is in the US economy and how removing it can boomerang badly. It's a kind of economic self-sabotage wrapped in xenophobic bravado.
Imagine being an immigrant in America and calling ICE on other immigrants. A person from Boston University, who also happens to be the president of the College Republicans at his university, has been bragging about calling ICE specifically workers from a car wash, which is just bizarre. And get this, he says, as someone who lives in the neighborhood, I've seen how American jobs are being given away to those with no right to be here. Mind you, this man was born in the UK, so his very argument that immigrants are taking American jobs, well, that applies to him too. And he's also taking a spot at the university that could have easily been given to an American.
He labeled their workforce criminals without even knowing who they were. To some, this is not responsible activism. It's reckless grandstanding with real human costs. This kind of vigilantism is dangerous. It encourages citizens to act as the de facto enforcement agents, targeting their neighbors and treating ICE like a political tool rather than a serious law enforcement agency. From a neighborhood relations perspective, residents in Alston are demanding accountability. Some argue that students at BU, including Segal, are not just politically naive, but tone-deaf, claiming a right to decide who belongs in their community. The university itself is facing pressure to respond. What's deeply ironic in this whole saga is that Segal's own narrative completely undercuts his message. He rails against immigrants taking American jobs, but he lives in that same country, benefiting from its institutions, and could easily apply for the very roles he claims shouldn't go to others. He paints himself as protecting his community, but in doing so, he's attacking people who contribute to the backbone of essential industries. If the US ought to follow Segal's logic on a broad scale, encouraging ICE reports for neighborhood businesses, detaining workers, stripping the labor pool of immigrant contributions, the downstream effects could be devastating. Farms would struggle, restaurant kitchens could close, construction projects could stall, the economy would feel it, not just in abstract macro numbers, but at grocery stores, on building sites, and in neighborhoods. In short, the controversy over Segal's ICE calls is not just a campus scandal, it's a microcosm of a larger national contradiction. A country that decries job stealing by immigrants, yet relies on those same people to grow its food, build its infrastructure, cook its meals, and keep many of its service industries afloat. Zach Segal's story is a cautionary tale. When nationalist bravado meets ignorance about how the economy actually functions, the result isn't just ugly rhetoric, it's a rejection of the very people who make much of modern America possible.
Behold, the superior race. These are the eyes of someone who claims to have called immigration enforcement officials on a car wash in Boston. The agency showed up to this car wash because of Zach's phone calls. 9 people were taken from their families that day.
So what do you all think? Do you think people like Zach actually care about protecting American jobs, or is this just political performance? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I would love to keep this discussion going. Otherwise, that's it from me. I also have another video specifically tailored for you. And if you enjoy such kind of content, please click up here and enjoy. Also, consider subscribing, liking and sharing because it helps me grow my channel and helps YouTube recommend this video to a wider audience. Lastly, kindly consider joining my channel and I would really appreciate it. But for now, thank you so much for watching. And until the next time, the Joy Reports out.